operation of greens down in Norman Park, Georgia, home to Baker Farms. The Baker family run a larger operation than Farmer John in Milledgeville, but just like Farmer John, food quality and safety are priority number one.
My name is Joe Baker. I'm one of the owners here at Baker Farms. Started off with my dad. We was probably growing 3 to 5 acres of cabbage, a few acres of squash, traditional row crops in South Georgia, peanuts and cotton and so forth. Now we've gone from that to where we're at today. It is very humbling to just look back over the years and see where we've come from.
Me and my brother and my sister, we grew up, all of us working on the farm, all of us trying to provide and make the farm grow, always keeping that family-oriented aspect to it. We've never fell away from that, which is important to all of us.
I married into the Bakers, some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet. When I finished my college degree, I came out with an accounting degree, and my brother-in-law offered me a job just helping part-time while I was finishing school. And by the time I had finished school, I'd made my mind up that, hey, I wanted to farm and farm with this family. And at that time, my father-in-law, he had the wisdom to let me and my brother-in-law take over a lot of the farming and stuff. And, they just have always been the type of people to let people go and reach their potential and not hinder those people by standing over them and making decisions for them. So it's been a great relationship with this family.
I've always stressed the quality, and my children worked hard to make sure we had that quality, and I think that's been a big part of our success.
I pretty much oversee all the guys that works in the fields on the tractors. Yeah, it's pretty much 24 hours, 7 days a week, but it's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Every time another family member has joined the operation has continued to grow. I mean, I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for family. And then when I say family, I don't mean just siblings.
It's been great working with the Baker family. I've been here for 24 years, and they brought me in, and I felt like I was at home from the very beginning. The way Terry planned this business from the start, we think more about the quality of product that goes in it than the market. That's the first thing. It's made it easy for me to sell because of the quality. It helps sell itself.
If it's turnips, if it's curly, if it's kale or collards, when it's ready, I just tell them it's ready and we start harvest.
Jorge has been with this company for 30 years. Some of his story is just unbelievable. How he started at the very bottom, was working actually with some of his uncles that were overseers at the time. And through the years, he's just taken on more responsibility.
I start from the cropping, greens, squash, cabbages. Now I'm supervisor, the crew on the field. And I never thought we was going to be here all these years. But we're here for 29 years with Baker Farms. I'm so proud.
We're harvesting curly mustard. We grow collards, kale, mustard, turnips. We grow cilantro, we grow parsley. Today, as you can tell, we're harvesting curly mustard, which when we get through, it'll go to our packing facility. Some will be packed and shipped out directly to retailers, some to wholesalers. We ship all the way from, Miami, pretty much all over the country.
I went into medicine, worked in ICU, CCU, took a lot of sciences, obviously, with that particular background. So for me, it was important to come in and try to help build that foundation with regards to the science and the engineering and the computers so that next generation could benefit from that. We really feel like our product is the best, safest product there is. There's only one way, and that's the right way. And as bakers, that's what we feel is very important.
On top of the greens, in an adjacent field of greens and a little bit of reddish purple, lies the cabbage of Baker Farms. Just another nutritious link in the chain for the Baker family farm. The Baker family of Baker Farms have been growing cabbage, kale, broccoli, and other green vegetables since 1970, and many of those duties have been passed down through the generations. It takes experience on the farm, education in the classroom, and true commitment from the family and their employees to make it all work.
We're in Norman Park, Georgia, and we have green cabbage and a red cabbage or purple leaf cabbage. There's very many different types of green cabbage, which are flat, Savoy, and then All we grow in the red cabbage is just a purple leaf cabbage. It all started out with my grandfather. He started out with about 15 or 20 acres is all he had, and my father and my aunt and uncle grew up. They decided to get into the farming a little bit and started growing some different items, cabbage and collards, and it went from about 15 acres to today we grow about 7,000 acres of greens and cabbages and all that good stuff.
My name's JC Weatherington. I'm the marketing director here at Baker Farms. I've kind of integrated myself into this position, and it's been really fun getting to work with my cousins, getting to work with my family, seeing what I can contribute to this operation. I am going to Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, and it has helped me tremendously in being in ag and incorporating all I'm learning in marketing into this agricultural field. And so I'm grateful for having the opportunity to work in ag and go to college and using both of those to work together. Cabbages are actually made about 90% of water. What that does for you is it really hydrates your entire body whenever you eat it, and so that's good for your skin, that's good for your hair, good for everything in your body. Legend has it that Babe Ruth wore a cabbage leaf under his baseball cap. Before every game, he would put one in, and halfway through, he would change it out. So Babe Ruth believed cabbage brought him good luck. It seemed to work for Babe Ruth, so maybe it can work for you and I. We'll see about that.
We're in the leafy greens business. Basically anything that you see in the wet section of the grocery store. When I mean wet, I mean, you know, with the sprinklers going on in the grocery store. With the cabbage, they have very different flavors. Cabbage is very versatile, whereas you may not like cabbage cooked, but you may like a slaw dog, right? So there's so many different ways that these vegetables can be used. You can find a way that you can get the nutritional benefits from eating healthy, but it may not be the same way every time, right? So there's different ways to cook and prepare these things so that it meets everyone's taste buds. With leafy greens, it takes a lot of ice and water to cool this product. As you can tell, leafy greens are a very perishable product. Cabbages, on the other hand, and broccoli are handled a little bit differently. Cabbages are not an ice-intensive process. They're more of a air-cold and dry-cold product. So you have leafy greens and broccoli that take tremendous amounts of water and ice to cool and keep that product hydrated, versus cabbages, some of those products, you want to keep those products dry. Cold, but dry. And we use a vacuum cooler, which is a pressurized cooler. It lowers the barometric pressure inside of that vacuum cooler and then super cools that cabbage to bring that field heat out of the cabbage. Now, sometimes we're harvesting cabbages when it's 80 degrees, 85 degrees. So there's a tremendous amount of field heat that comes inside of those cabbage heads. So you have to put it in a vacuum cooler, lower that barometric pressure inside so that that cold air, which is cooled through ammonia, it's able to remove that heat from that product. The leafy greens and broccoli as well, they use a lot of ice to keep that product hydrated. This ice is crucial to keeping that product fresh, and the time from which it is cut and then iced and then packaged and delivered is very important. The speed at which it is cooled has a tremendous impact on the shelf life of that product.
Once you get farming in your blood, you may get away from it. You come back, and it gives you opportunity to spend more time with your children, your grandchildren, and that's the important thing in life.
So from greens and greenhouses to fields of greens to green and red cabbage and tasty green broccoli, Georgia farmers continue to produce a highly nutritious and high-quality product for their surrounding communities and far beyond. I'm David Zelski. See you at the next Fork in the Road.